Do you know anyone who has spent their entire life trying to deal with bad habits, but that person always fails? Some people try to overcome their addictions such as alcohol, drugs, or other problems like obesity and procrastination, but they always return to their bad habits days later. You've probably met someone who said they were going to lose weight. This person started a super restrictive diet, cutting out everything they believed to be unhealthy, started running and going to the gym every day. But days later, when stress and the difficulty of balancing family, work, studies, and the diet set in, this initiative ended up being destroyed, and this person ends up returning to bad habits, perhaps in a worse way than before. I know this happens frequently, and maybe that person is you. But what if I told you there is a method, a system combining several ancient philosophies that can help you overcome any bad habit, including problems like obesity, alcohol addiction, or dealing with procrastination? And best of all, it's a super simple system. This system, which I call the five-fold path of return, combines the ancient Japanese philosophies of Ikigai, Kaizen, Hara-Hachibu, Wabi-Sabi, and Gambaru. This isn't a plan of attack. It is a map for returning to your purpose, Ikigai, returning to consistency, Kaizen, returning to balance, Hara-Hachibu, returning from failure, Wabi-Sabi, and returning to your innate strength, Gambaru. But I need to warn you, this system goes against what many productivity coaches teach about change. It goes against what motivational gurus try to sell us every day, and it will require you to do something that seems ridiculously small, so small that you'll think it doesn't work, until it works. To understand this path, we must first understand failure. I am going to tell you the story of a man named Christopher. Christopher was 40 years old, weighed 142 kilos, and was dying slowly without realizing it. He wasn't a bad guy. He'd worked as a stock manager in a warehouse for 15 years. He woke up at 5 a.m. and got home at 7 p.m. 2 kids, a wife, bills to pay. The typical lower middle class guy who supports his family and forgets he has a body. His diet, whatever he had time to eat. Breakfast in the car, lunch at his office desk, dinner watching TV because he was too exhausted to sit at the table with his family. Weekends were pizza, beer, and the couch. He deserved it. After all, he worked harder than a mule. His body began to give the first signs that something was wrong, but he ignored them. Climbing the stairs was exhausting. Tying his shoes became an engineering challenge. He had to sit down, hold his breath, strain his stomach. The children asked to play tag, and he made up excuses. His wife suggested a walk in the park, but he was too tired. But you know what hurt the most? It wasn't the numbers on the scale. It was the look in his 7-year-old daughter's eyes when she stopped asking him to play. She had learned that her father didn't play, and Christopher saw that, felt that, and did nothing, because he had already tried to change before. 3 times he went to the gym for 2 months, but stopped. He followed a low-carb diet for 3 weeks, but gave up. He went for a morning run for 5 days, but stopped that, too. He had arrived at that dangerous place where most people die without dying. Acceptance of defeat. That's just how I am. I've always been fat. It's my genetics. My metabolism is slow. I don't have time. Until the day your body says, enough. It was a Saturday morning. Christopher was playing in the backyard with his 9-year-old son. No, he wasn't playing. He was sitting in a plastic chair watching the boy play ball alone. The son kicked the ball far away. It landed in the neighbor's flower bed. Dad, can you get it for me? Christopher stood up. He walked to the flower bed. He bent down to pick up the ball, and he couldn't get up. Not because he was in pain or injured. He simply didn't have the strength in his legs to lift his own body weight. He lay on all fours on his neighbor's flower bed, sweating, trying to get up while his 9-year-old son watched silently. The neighbor had to help him get up. This might sound absurd to you watching, but believe me, there are people who go through this kind of situation, where they can't perform basic daily tasks. That night, Christopher sat on the edge of the bed and cried. He cried because he was 40 years old and needed help getting up. He cried because his son had seen it. He cried because he realized he was building a memory in that childish mind. My father was weak. His wife entered the room. She didn't say anything. She just hugged him. And then she said, "You need help, Chris." Really. Christopher's story is the quiet desperation that so many of us feel. If you have ever felt this trapped, and you are ready for a real solution, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. We do not deal in quick fixes here. We deal in profound change. Now, let's see what Christopher did next. On Sunday morning, he called the only friend who had lost weight and kept it off. A guy named Marcus who had lost 30 kilos and looked different. Not just thinner, more complete. Marcus, I need help. Did you go to the doctor? Did you take any medicine? How did you do it? Marcus paused. I did go to a doctor, yes, but not the kind of doctor you're thinking of. He didn't give me medicine. He gave me a philosophy. Philosophy doesn't make me lose weight, Marcus. Chris, you're wrong, Marcus replied. The following Tuesday, Christopher sat in a minimalist consultation room that didn't look like a doctor's office. No anatomy posters, no hospital smell, just a wooden table, 2 chairs, and a huge window overlooking the garden. Dr. Tishi Yamamoto entered, about 65 years old, thin, erect posture, calm movements. He didn't look like a doctor, he looked more like a monk. Christopher, tell me what brought you here. Chris told him everything, the weight, the tiredness, the children, the shame, the flower bed. When he finished, he expected to hear about diet, exercise, blood tests. Dr. Yamamoto didn't turn on his computer. He didn't take out any prescriptions. He simply said, tell me something. How many times have you tried to lose weight? 3, 4, maybe. And how long did each attempt last? 2 months at most. Usually a few weeks. Dr. Yamamoto nodded. Do you know why it failed? Christopher started the list that everyone talks about. Lack of time, genetics, metabolism. The doctor raised his hand, interrupting. No, you failed because you tried to win a 40-year war in a 2-month battle. You failed because you attacked your habits with violence. The gurus call it grinding or hustle. I call it war. And in war, Christopher, the land is always destroyed. You have destroyed your own self-trust. We will not declare a war. We will make peace. Christopher, I'm going to make you a proposition. I'm going to ask you to make a change today. A change so small that you'll think I'm kidding you. So small that it will seem pointless. Do you accept? Chris was desperate. I'll accept anything. Great. From today onwards, every day when you wake up, before doing anything else, you're going to drink a glass of water. That's all. A glass of water. Christopher waited. The rest of the instruction didn't come. That's all. A glass of water every day for 2 weeks. Nothing else. You can continue eating pizza, drinking beer, watching TV. Just add that glass of water in the morning. Doctor, with all due respect, I need to lose about 50 kilos. A glass of water won't do it. You're right. A glass of water isn't going to make you lose 50 kilos, Doctor. Yamamoto leaned forward. But it will do something much more important. It will prove to you that you can keep a promise to yourself. And that proof is the only thing you really need right now. Christopher left the doctor's office confused. He paid $200 for a consultation only to be told he needed to drink water. He was even annoyed. But something Dr. Yamamoto said kept nagging at him. A promise to yourself. How many promises had he broken? How many Mondays had he sworn he would change only to give up by Wednesday? If he couldn't trust himself, how could he possibly change? That night, he filled a glass with water and left it on his bedside table. The next morning, when the alarm clock rang at 5 a.m., he saw the glass. He drank it. Simple as that. Day 2, same thing. Day 3, also. On day 7, something different happened. He woke up before his alarm clock and the first thing he thought was, where's my glass of water? His brain began to expect it.